Everybody, welcome back tonight. We got a good one for you tonight. All things business. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And also, please leave a comment. And most important, share this with several people. We got a wonderful show lineup tonight. And I tell you what, I hope you guys are ready because this guy's an entrepreneur. He got 10 mobile homes. He has 8 subways. Been knowing him for 10 and 12 years. Got involved with one of the industries I'm involved with and took off and started because everybody's springboarding other things. He's just such a phenomenal job. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to my guest tonight. This is season 4, and this is episode 6 in all things business. The one and only, the great Mr. Anthony Quire. Anthony Quire, you there, sir?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Thomas. Great to be with you, man. Excited about this season.
Man,
Excited.
how long have we been knowing each other? How many years have we been knowing each other?
I think since 2000, I want to say 9 or 10. So like maybe almost close 12 to 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's been 2009 or 10. So yeah, close to 15 years.
Yeah, you got involved in one of my industries in network marketing, and
Yes.
you springboard out of that, and you went into mobile home parks, and then from there you went. Tell us a story about the mobile home parks. I know I was listening to the earlier ones that was on all the podcasts that was
Yes.
released early this morning. How you bought a deal that was worth 450, you got it for 350, and now today it's worth $1 million.
So a little bit of a background. I got into real estate in my 20s, going out of college, and I remember, my dad telling me don't be an idiot and buy a house, buy investment property. He didn't do it himself, but he told me to, and I was like, look, that makes sense, man. I said, to me, people that I know that have, had real estate have I learned about passive income. So I learned from you, and in what I learned in network marketing, how important passive income is. That
Yeah,
passive residual income. So it made sense to me with real estate, and I knew that people, such as Donald Trump or Sam Zell, that has
oh
real
yeah,
estate. These guys were, have been very well as far as financially, and they've been able to help so many other people. So that's what caught my eye. It's like I don't have to be there, and I still get paid. We live in a 24-hour world, and it don't make sense just working 8 hours a day. So something didn't seem right with that.
yeah.
I said, I was born at night, but not last night. So
Now you know what, Sal. You and I have more in common than you think. My dad said the same thing,
wow.
and he never owned a property outside his own single family on the one we lived in. And here's the funny part. Let me tell you something really funny. We would play Monopoly I kid you not, if not every, at least 3 out of the 4 weekends out of the month. That was our game as a family. We were so good at playing Monopoly, we could roll the dice without counting the squares, land and tell how much we owed you, whether you had one house, 2 houses. That's how good we were. But I learned then to play the Monopoly game. My dad never played it, never got involved.
Yep.
So we have that in common. So I wasn't born last night either.
And another thing too, I remember, going back, my wife, who was a medical doctor, was very skeptical when I got into, the mobile home park industry. She said, "No, I don't know about this." And so I remember being skeptical. She was a OB/GYN doctor, made good money. She said, "I don't know about that," and I got into it, and I said, "It's going to work." I said, I have a feeling that this is a ticket, and it's for it got, syndicated and mainstream, which are still opportunity now. But I did in the early mid 2000s, before, the per se the grass got green and people seen what was going on in the industry. And so I really knew that it was something that I could take, and I could it could blow up. And so I just really had faith that I wanted to look, God's going to make a way. And I told her, I said, just watch. She ended up later getting cancer, and was not able to do what she did as a doctor because of neuropathy and all that. And so when you have an income to fall back on, I don't fall back on the job. These are noble professions. Teacher, I'm an educator, came from as an educator. Noble professions, teacher, doctor. But you know what the difference is? They don't have passive residual income. And so, and again, I've learned that from being around great people like yourself, Mr. Thomas, who has has taught us and instilled in us, from network marketing and the value of having a passive income. So that really, with my wife, what happened to her? She lost her job, and you know what? I said it's like ghost man income. That ghost man on the sideline when that when that it's when you're on the bench on the side, that ghost man comes and picks up where you left off, and it's another income stream. So that's what really got my attention is, I have another income. I don't have to be there. And, some they don't teach you in school that your income, that this stream works for you when you're not there. So that's a valuable lesson that, people out in the world, the 9 to 5, were taught to go to school and get a good education. That's a thing of the past.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. I want to first of all thank Mr. Adrian O'Neill in Vegas. Good evening, sir. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Ms. Kathleen Williams from Sacramento. Thank you so much. People in India, Rahish in India. In the U.S., thank you, folks. And I see people in England as well as over in Canada, United States, and Mexico. Buenos noches, amigos. So how did your wife feel? She had cancer. She was skeptical, and she couldn't work any longer. What was her thoughts after she could not work about the residual income of real estate and network marketing?
Well, she understood, she was very skeptical, but, after the fact, had that and she lost. I was like, we have these other incomes, streams. I told somebody, I don't care if it's $100 enough or $10,000 a month passively, that is a whole different level. That's like, if I have $10,000 a month, it's like making $100,000 on a linear income. And so that's what I told her. I said the value of passive income is that 10 times the fold of traditional linear income. And so that's what I began to share that with her, is the value of having this income that now you really don't have to work because you got another income stream that allows you to still have a different, have a decent lifestyle, not having to struggle. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that time when she lost her job, you take a job, high, take a high income job that's making, $8,000, $10,000 a month and just gone, right? And you have something to fall back on. People, are able to maintain that in life. So it's really a blessing that comes from God. And, I give the glory that allow from, learning people like yourself to be able to stand to get me where I'm at today. So thank you.
Okay. Well, now that you got other income sources coming in, and you were an educator, what kind of educator were you at the time when you guys first got
I
together?
was actually I was I was a special ed teacher. So I worked with kids with behaviors, with autism, with mental health issues, and I worked with kids in the field. And so, why I was doing it, because I don't know an educator that doesn't have something else they do on the side. Because, again, educator, I know the profession, but they definitely don't get paid. I know from being in education, they don't get paid what they should be paid, what they're worth. And so, something else I learned from you is, in business, you determine your own value. And instead of letting them with a job, they tell you what your value is. So that's something that I'm
Yeah. Yeah, your connection over there is kind of getting a little weak. Let me ask you. So you did that full time. You had a side hustle on top of that while you were the educator. Is that correct?
Correct.
There you go. Much better. And now I know when you start getting and delving into the mobile home, you went to, what was it, Home Depot or Lowe's? It was Home Depot or
Lowe's.
Lowe's.
Yep.
You went to Lowe's part time just so you could meet someone. Tell us that story. I think that's fascinating.
So, the Holy Spirit gave me the inclination of when I was younger, said, you can work at Lowe's. Is something I learned is about taproting, networking through people. And so I got a job there initially to get a discount off the supplies, right? The materials
Yeah.
or the properties that I had, right? So that was my initial, and the network, right? I knew I knew one of my strengths that I've learned is I'm good at network. I can, no matter any way that I learn from network marketing is how to meet people and be able to create a relationship based on, whether it's folk, whether it's family, occupation, religion, or a
Okay.
little bit about that, but to be able to meet them and be able to connect with them. And that's something that I learned
Okay.
how to connect.
So your internet's kind of going a little bit different now again. So yeah, I know you went there to Lowe's so you can meet people. So and number one, get a discount on all the supplies you needed for your mobile home parks. But tell us, didn't you meet somebody? It's a couple of interesting people you bought
Oh,
mobile homes from. One guy's your partner.
so yeah, one guy's my partner now. I met him at the line as a cashier. I ended up managing his park for him. He's now one of my partners. We own parks together in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Then I met the guy that I bought my first park from in Lake Charles. Met him, developed a relationship with him, an owner, and within a year's time, I talked to him, created that relationship, and I talked him down $100,000 on his price and bought the first park for 350,000, and that park is worth over $1 million today.
Yeah. Now, go into a little bit more. I'd like to, I know, before you got the mobile home parks, talk about the real estate that you bought to acquire the first deal, if you can. Some
Oh,
foreclosures,
okay.
and you bought foreclosures.
Yeah, so the first properties I got in 2000, during the heart of the recession, 2009, 8, 9, I started buying.
Oh, I want to stop you right there. I want to stop for a second because you dropped a nugget. I want people around the world to catch it. Most people notice he's laughing and I laughing because most people, when Chicken Little, the sky's falling, run, save yourself. That's when investors run in to get the
Yeah.
best deals. We make money. Listen up, everybody around the world. We make money when we buy it low and sell it high. You sell it high, so it's well, anyway. We know what it's worth, so we go in, and that's why we look for the very best deals and we cherry pick them. So go ahead and tell the story because most people
So
don't buy when the market's down. They want to buy
yeah,
when it's up.
and right now it's turned into a buyer's market. Interest rates are down, and this fourth quarter going to next year, that was called the winter goes to spoils. You're going to see a lot of stuff hit the market, and if you're on the sidelines, have some cash, there's going to be a real big opportunity coming up. I mean, and it's coming
Yes,
up
sir.
right now. It's upon us right now. So really is, you kind of look at the economy and what's going on. I really take a macro look at the economy and what's going on. I know it's about to happen, so it's just you got to be patient.
Yep.
And
Yeah. I
so
know what you're doing. I
so
put an offer
back
on
to
something
what
the
you
other
were
day.
saying, 2008, 9, I bought those. The first five I bought at the courthouse steps, so it was a short sale, and so I bought those for 9,000 a piece. And then the next five I
Now
bought
let's
from a
talk. Oh, wait,
bank.
wait, wait, wait. You get going a little fast. So, folks, you went down to the courthouse. At the courthouse, you got to have cashier's check. There's no financing. You got to have cash, a cashier's check. And
Yeah,
normally we break it up in several different cashier's check depending upon what we're going to buy. Because let's say you bought something for 9. What if you had a $20,000 cashier's check? You have to give it to them. They have to send the money back. So we break those down in increments. But anyway, you bought it the foreclosure at the steps of the courthouse. And
hmm
how much was that first one worth? You bought 2 that day or 3 that day?
about five for 9, so 45,000 worth one bedroom. There used to be called condo tales,
Yeah,
and they were basically hotels, Holiday Inn hotels, and they were for legislators in Frankfort, Kentucky, and
yeah,
they turned them into condos, and I bought those for 9,000 a piece.
9,000. What would you think they were worth at the time you bought them at 9?
What are they worth now, or when I sold them?
No, when
Oh,
you
what were they worth? They were probably worth 20 when I bought them, 20
okay,
something.
so 50% off. That's a good
Yeah,
value.
yeah, about 50, 60% off.
There
But I
you
mean,
go. That's what I was trying to get at.
some of them were into, some of them, like had mold and everything else, but it just, they need to be fixed up. So it wasn't nothing
Yep.
that, we didn't do. It took us about 6 around.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah. It's your internet again a little bit. Good thing Mr. Clemens and I weren't
all
around. We
right,
might
hold
have to outbid you a little bit by a grand or two.
on.
What?
Well, look, you can still
Because
come, you
that's
can still come in and outbid me now. I don't mind it at all.
9,000. What are they worth now? Let's give an idea. So I want an audience to get an idea because we
Those
buy them, we'll
those
fix them up.
I sold them in 2021 for about 25,000 a piece.
Okay.
So I sold them for around 25,000 a piece in 2020. So I had a 10-year loan on those, it was a commercial loan, and I paid the loan off, right? And then I paid the loan off. I sold those properties, and then I took the proceeds from that to buy a mobile home. It was a $500,000. I put $197,000 now, and I
Yeah.
made.
What I like.
Go ahead.
What I like the idea was you took the property for 9, you did 150% return on your investment in a year or two, took
Yeah.
that capital, paid everything off, and put that money that you took from those 5 units, home, single family, and put it all down on the mobile home park.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm following you, but I know there's a lot of newbies out there that don't understand this language, but you and I understand as investors. But so I just want to get sure that everybody knew they took the money from all those 5, sold it, took every dime and put down onto the
Yes.
property he bought, the mobile home park. It was worth $450, but he got the guy down to $350,000, $100,000 off, and now it's worth over $1 million. Go ahead.
So, and again, the first one, I got a line of credit after that one. The first park that I bought, and then the second park I bought in North Carolina, I had $100,000 line of credit. I think it was around 90 that I put in. I got the bank financing, another tidbit with local banks, where I went to a local bank in the area and I got pre-approved. And I called banks, but you know what? I didn't stop. I kept going until I found someone that would say.
All right, I want to stop there. Your internet's kind of breaking up. So, ladies and gentlemen, why he went to one bank said no, he went to another bank, went to another bank, went to another bank, went to another. See, most people give up on your dreams. He didn't let that stop him. So with that, you had $150,000 line. How much did the bank finance that next park with? How much you had to put?
I think it was around 90 on that. That was another 350,000 that I paid for the park.
So I'm trying to slow you down a little bit so I can get the audience to understand. He used his line of credit, took 90,000 off his line of credit with 150,000, put that down on the next property. Go ahead.
So I put that down on the next property where it was pretty much breaking even, but there was a lot of room at that time.
You're breaking up again, sir. You're breaking up again. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know some of you thinking out in the audience, well, what about the $90,000? Trust me, he had enough cash flow to pay the mortgage on the first property, the mobile home, and pay the $90,000 that he took on the line of credit. So it paid for itself. Go ahead.
So yeah, that paid for itself from the line. I was able to pay the line of credit and able to pay the note from the proceeds that were coming in off there, and I raised the rents in the process, and I fixed up mobile homes. So that was I seen the added value in the process when I bought that part to bring the rents up, and they were like 150 under the market. So I knew in the next 3 or 4 years I can bring up close to the market.
Yeah. So audience, what I'm saying is the 90,000, the rental, the park paid for the mortgage, commercial loan on the park, plus it paid the 90,000, plus after all that's said and done, he still put money in his pocket and he raised the rents. Guy after my own heart.
Yeah,
then the next project, go ahead, sir.
So the next project was I bought a park. I bought a park in another park it was in Fayetteville, 49 lot parks, and I had a assignment. I had a broker, right, that had the park, and I paid an assignment fee. I think it was $25,000 assignment fee. And so that part I bought for $350. Of course, it was something needed added value. The lot rents were, I think it was $165, and I raised it, I think, to like $210 coming in the door. So they were way undervalued on the lot rents. So I raised them up, and then I started building back. So you in this industry, you want to build back, put the responsibility back on the tenants. So the first thing I did that, and then I build the trash back to the tenants. So you want to build the trash in the water because it helps your net, your net operating income, your bottom line of what you're going to make. So that was one of the
Right.
first things. The first year I built the trash back, and then after that we were working on building the water back.
Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he said he had an assignment from the broker. Let me explain what assignment is. The broker probably had a deal he had himself, and I've done this many times with his name, and it says and or assignees. So
Yes.
what he did, because he already had a deal, he went to an investor like Mr. Quire here and said, look, I got a deal on these units. My fee is 25 grand, and I'll sign the contract to you, and it's yours. You can go ahead and buy it. That's what an assignment is for those that don't know. All right, continue on, sir.
So that's what happened. And from that part, I just seller financed it a year ago. Part that I paid 350, I seller financed it for $1.5 million.
Now,
1.5 million.
let's break it down so they understand what seller
Oh,
financing is.
okay. So seller finances is when my stuff becomes the bank instead
Yeah.
of taking it to, PNC Bank or Chase Bank. You name the term. So the entry or the benefit to the buyer is that you can get a lower rate than going to the bank. And then I myself, you're the one that takes the I'm taking if something happens, uh I'm the one that would take the fall back on. So when you're doing that, the person that's doing the selling is the one that's actually the one that is taking the risk. But the thing is, if something happens to that, if they don't pay for, say they don't pay for a couple months, they default on that loan and you can take the property back.
Right. I love owner finance, and I did a lot of that in my younger days. So let's break this down. How much did that gentleman put down on the property on that mobile home?
He put down $250,000 down.
Oh,
Right.
okay. So we got everybody get your pen and paper out. 1.5 million.
Yes, sir.
Mine is $250,000 down. Here, let me get my little calculator because I'm gonna be slow sometimes. Now watch this. He paid 1.5, sold it for 1.5 million. Okay. The guy came in with $250,000 down. Y'all with me so far? That leaves a balance of 101,250,000. He had a first that he wrapped probably at 350,000. So that means his equity, Mr. Quire's equity, was 900,000. So he said, "Look, tell you what, you owe me a million. Let's go back, $1,250,000.
Yep.
And you pay me whatever the interest rate is." So he pays Mr. Quire. Mr. Quire gets this, and he pays the underlying mortgage. So everything. So he became the bank. There's no qualifying. You don't have to worry about getting. Nobody has to qualify. It's just I trust you, because if you don't pay me, I'll snatch it back, and it's probably worth that time maybe $2 million. So
Well,
go ahead, as long as you make the payments. Go ahead.
so I just had it reappraised because I still own it on paper, and it appraised right now for 1.25 million. And so it's almost appraising for the price. And he has 5 years. He's paying $5,288 a month, and my note on it is only 2,500, and that's interest only, meaning he's going to end up paying $388,000 of interest over 5 years.
Well, I
So
take that deal.
he's going to end up paying almost 1.9 million for something I
Yeah.
paid 350,000. Tell me that's God's blood. That means you've made it to a degree.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I remember buying a hotel in Oakland. I did the same thing. I put about 25 grand down. The owner carried for me. It cash flowed like crazy, and I loved it. A commercial. I mean, he lived in L.A. and I lived in the Bay Area, and he had just
Perfect.
oh my God, it was a cash flowing cow.
Yep.
Oh my God, I named it S and R for Steve, the guy who worked for me, Steve, and J for Jose. So I had Steve and S. So I named it S and J Residence, so they can run it. And I was, look, you want to hear something funny? I was an undercover cop back in them days because I owned the building, but I would go down as a janitor, park my Ferrari like 2 blocks away, or my Porsche 2 blocks away, and I go in as a janitor. And everybody thought I was a janitor. I just sweep the floor. I get all the gossip was going on because
Yeah.
everybody thought I was just a janitor. I love it, man. Owner
And
finance, I love it.
yeah, and that's the way to go. And especially in the last few years, when 2 years ago when it was really a buyer's market and the rates were up. And so 5% was a deal because the average rate was over 7%. And so, you got to make it advantageous to the seller and the buyer. So it took a while to get that deal. It took about 6 months to find the right one. And there's the thing I've learned in real estate. There's always someone out there for any deal that's out there, right? You just got to take your time, and you got to know what your criteria is, know what you're looking for, and then the deals will come. So that's if you if you build it, you will come. But if you put it into the atmosphere, you have a better. If you look at it and put it on the wall every day and say, "Look, I will find this property," right? Those affirmations. If you speak it and you speak it every day and put it on the wall and write your goals down, watch it come to fruition. But it takes
And
a
I'd
plan.
add on to that, seek it too.
Seek
The
it,
Bible,
yeah,
seek it
seek
and
it.
you shall find it. But if you're not seeking, you'll never find it. How would you know if it came to you if you weren't looking for it?
Right. And
And it'll come across
and
your
if you ain't
path.
knocking on the door, it ain't gonna open. So
That's right. Just like you went to the bank after bank after bank after
yep,
bank. You
I
because you
didn't
had a
I didn't
goal
give
in mind.
up.
You wouldn't let,
I never gave
Hey, I
up.
want to thank Danny Payne out there in Alberta, Canada, for joining us as well. It's so important because I love these nuggets, and I want to break it down, people. The gentleman started with just a few dollars and parlayed it into a net worth, and then he went from there into some larger ones. But then he jumped into tell us about the subways, because right now you own 10 different mobile home parks and 8 subways. Tell us about the first subway you got. How'd you come to that one?
So the first Subway, it was really a act of God. I went into a Subway. I remember eating with my job. Went in there and ate, and the Spirit said, "You're going to own this Subway." And I was like, "Me? And I've never owned a restaurant. I don't know how to own a restaurant." And so what I did is I went to the manager at the time, and I was like, "Look, I want to, know a little." They said, "Well, I think the owner was trying to move their family." Trying to move, because move to Tennessee because their parents, want to take care of their parents. I was like, "Oh, is that so?" I said, "Well, I think they may be trying to sell it." I said, "Okay." So I said, "Can you get me in touch with the owner? Get me in touch with the owner, and I can kind of talk to them." So I got in touch with the owner, talked to them, and I ended up, I found out that they were trying to sell. They had two subways. And then I found out there was another owner that had one, and so we combined them together to get an SBA loan
All right,
for
let me slow
about
you down for a
six.
second. I got a question. You said something that probably went over people's heads, they didn't understand, and I caught it real quick. You said you went to the majors. What does the majors mean so people understand what that meant?
So I went to the managers who went to the owners, right? I went to the
Okay,
key
there you go.
person.
So you
I
asked the
went to the
managers, hey,
managers.
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I went to the managers, and then I went on. I found the owner, and the owner called me back. I was like, "Look, we're looking at, maybe picking up, acquiring the subways, and we want to make sure you're on board." And so from there, I found out we had to get approved as franchisees. So there's a process. You look at your credit score, they look at your background. You have to do an interview. So it's not just any Mo, Dick, or Harry or John off the street. You got to be qualified to own a business. To own a major franchise. So it's not just somebody walk up the streets. And I didn't know by the grace of God that I qualified to become a franchisee. So it's when you have your business like that, it says a lot about your character to be able to even qualify for something like that.
Yeah, and you went to the SBA, got the SBA loan for
Got an
business.
SBA loan, yeah.
Yeah, because they love
So
entrepreneurs at the SBA.
yep. So it was a 10-year SBA loan. It's a variable rate, but that's pretty common. I had to put my house up as equity or as collateral. So now this is when you become the big leagues, then it's the stuff you have to do.
Yeah. How much, if you don't mind, if it's too much to say, how much was the total of the SBA loan did they give you?
I think it was around close to 600,000.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
And
payments on it around $8,000 a month for the payment on that for that 600,000 for 10 years.
yeah, for the 3 shops.
Yep, for 3 shops.
Oh man, that's sweet.
And they bring in about 130,000 a month, give or take. with those 3 restaurants.
$8,000, 130,000 in, minus employees. Yeah, that's a nice, healthy little income.
Yeah. So, you can, like I said, those, when you buy restaurants, they do cash flow, but, there's expenses, but a lot of times, when you pay the note off, that's when you're really making the cash flow, and you cash flow, and it's a tax write-off during the meantime. So a lot of people buy restaurants, you're making money, but they're looking at from the tax advantages. Because like you said, when you have your own business, you can write off your lifestyle.
Oh
So
boy,
that's important. You
that's
write
very
off
important.
very important. You write off your lifestyle.
That's right.
So
You sure can. But if you got a 9 to 5, you can't write off
you
nothing.
can't write off
You
nothing.
can't
But when
write
you're
off a
an
pencil or
entrepreneur,
pencil.
yeah, it's always your advantage to have a 1099 income stream, right? And that's what I tell people. You can work a 9 to 5, but Jim Rome says from 5 to 9, work on your own legacy. Something again they don't teach in school. They teach you to go work a 9 to 5, right? And so we're
Hmm.
teaching people how to become entrepreneurs. Work for yourself. If you have
And
the
that's
drive and you have a dream, it can happen.
yeah. That's why this channel is so vital for you entrepreneurs out there. And that's why it's called All Things Business. I have people from all walks of life. Some of my 21 millionaires that I helped through the 36 years are sprinkled through here because they all started with some industries and now they merged rooms in other industries. But basically, like you said, Jim Rome, the entrepreneurs, they're trying to find a better way for themselves and their family. And they're building generational wealth, which schools and
Very-
colleges don't teach anything about. So continue on. So you got the three. How did the other 5 come about?
So 3, we got the first 3. We ran those for around a year, a little bit over a year, and then my partner, we met a guy, and he had 2 more, and we bought 2 more in Fayetteville, another market, a good market because they have, the markets that we're looking at usually have colleges, university, they have hospitals, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
want to look at colleges, hospitals, and military. If they have those 3, I'm not going to say it's recession proof, but it pretty much is. You're going to have a good stable. I mean,
yeah.
if you have those 3 in a market,
You know
also money in the bank.
that's what most all successful investors look for. Hospitals. Matter of fact, I made an offer on some by hospital. Military, because the military is not going away, and colleges. Man, it's so important. So important. I
Yep.
was remember when I was paying for my daughter's rent in Boston when she was going to Boston College. I need to buy some around. I mean, this is ridiculous because
Yes.
here again, supply
Cheaper.
and demand,
Yeah.
supply and demand. And then I remember I got a friend in Hawaii. He owns like about 6 different units, and he rents them out by the room
Yes.
to international students, not the whole the 3 bedroom. He rent each room out. I said, what? He said,
Yes.
yeah. And then I got 2 in one room, and I'm just
Yeah.
cash flowing because they're going to college out of country.
Yeah, and that's where you do the room, how can rent out the rooms, and that's a big industry. It's taking
Yeah,
houses and rent the rooms out, and some rent out by the week, some rent out by the month. So
yeah.
I know
So
that
you
you.
got some more in Fayetteville.
Oh yeah, we bought 2 more in Fayetteville. We got a So at the point we didn't have to use SBA, we actually got a private loan that loans for you had to have a year, maybe a year in business and tax returns, and then we're able to get a private loan through Harbor Capital. And these are that deal with restaurants, and so we got a private loan for those 2. We ran those for another year, and then we bought one more. Then we bought one pretty much each in the last 2 years. So we bought 3,
So
2, then 1, 1, 1 to get to where we're
yeah,
at.
what I want to break down to your audience out there tonight, because he went to the banks for his mobile home park. One said no, 2, 3, 4, 5. He kept going to got a yes. Number one. Then watch it. It springboarded him to the finding out more about subways. Didn't know nothing about it. What did he say? I didn't know. I don't know anything about restaurants. Guys, who said you had to know everything? He just understood he needed to get there. And then he found the owner,
Mhm.
manager to the owner, went to SBA, got a loan, went through the training process to qualify to be able to be a Subway owner, right? Watch this. Got
Yes,
all
sir.
3 of them together in finance. And then he did, he springboarded into some more. And then from the SBA, he found another company because his did here they went on ahead and springboarded him into private financing because why? He had a track record of having a couple subways. So it's a track record from going from here to here to here and to here. The track, you just stayed on track. And doors will open up. God will bless you. These doors will open up magnificently. You just got to stay on track. Go ahead.
Like you said, the next opportunity we have, we're getting ready. We got approved to be Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins franchise. So we got 3 more. One on base, one at MUSC in South Carolina at a cancer center, and then another one on another like a separate store we're working on. So we got approving again. You know, this when you're in business and you start networking connection, it just blessings keep on coming. Now, is there days that's hard and sweat and tears? Yes, but that's part of business. But would you rather do that for yourself or do that for someone else? That's the choice we have to make. We don't have a choice how we come in this world, but you know what? We have a choice how we go out of this world.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a phenomenal call tonight. 8 different mobile home parks, 8 subways, and now moving into 3 Dunkin' Donuts. Just because the doors are opening up and God is blessing because he stayed true. And I'm telling you guys, he said, stay focused. Some of the people don't work. I tried 3 banks, they all turned me down. So what? Keep going. I don't know. That's why most people are not successful, because you don't have the determination, the willpower, the strive, the drive. And I want to thank everybody out there because you do have it. If Mr. Anthony Quire can do it, you can too. And he's here to encourage you. So let's ask you the question in closing, sir. What would you say to some newbies out here thinking about starting whatever type of business? It doesn't make a difference. What would you give them as far as a tip?
So the tip I would tell anyone is, have faith, trust in God, a higher power or something, and have a goal, write it down, look at it every day, and just have the determination that you never give up. You keep going. And so that's something I've learned through life with faith, with mentors like Mr. Thomas and others in my life that know that I'm just going to keep going. I told people, I'm just too dumb to give up. Right. I'm too dumb to give up. And so if I'm too dumb to give up, I'm just going to keep going. And so that's really, I've held steadfast to that value in life, is to, have faith and have good mentors, people around you that are smarter than you, that are better than you, and then that believe in you. And so that's why it's very important that you have to believe in yourself, but you have to find people that believe in you. And when you find that group, and maybe it's just a handful, I mean, most time it's not, but maybe 3 to 5 people that you're really close with. When you find that, you gotta take that and run with it, and you can really impact the world. We're all called. We all have a purpose and plan. At Jeremiah 29:11, that we have, the thoughts He has for us to prosper, succeed, and be in health. But taking that and applying that to your life and run with it and let God be God and watch things begin to happen in your life that come. It's the miracle come from God. But, it says we don't have it's faith. If we have faith and we don't have works, we're dead. So you've got to have the faith that works to make it a reality.
Wow. That's so true. Well, ladies and gentlemen from around the world, we want to thank you for tuning in today. Please leave a comment. Please send this out to at least 7 people, because 7 means complete. And see what the feedback you get, because you're going to bless some people with this call. Gentlemen started off with buying a couple houses at the foreclosure sale and parlayed it and parlayed it and parlayed it and parlayed it. And now the doors are open up with subways coming at him and more subways, and also now Dunkin' Donuts. Where do you think he's going to be in the next 2 to 3 to 5 to 10 years from today? You think he's building generational wealth for his kids and his kids' kids? You've got that right. And you can do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, leave a comment. Thank you so much. And if not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We'd love to have it, and leave a comment and hit the thumbs up button so we can get that out to the more people. So with that said, Mr. Gary Ware, excuse me, Anthony, I'm thinking of somebody, Anthony Quire, we want to thank you for your time tonight, sir. We appreciate you so much. Don't go nowhere. Thank you all out there and watching. And remember, we watch this again and again and again. God bless you. And as always, we'll see you at the top.
Or we'll see you over the top.
God bless you all. Bye-bye.